February 1840, there existed two documents of immense importance, the Treaty in Maori and the final English draft of the treaty in English. The final English draft was translated into Maori by first-class translators Henry Williams and his son Edward. This treaty in Maori and this final English draft were, therefore, a mirror image of each other except for two differences. What were those differences? Well, first there was the date. The date of the draft was the 4th of February. The date of the treaty in Maori was the 6th of February. Now, we would expect this difference since the date the final English draft was completed was the 4th of February 1840 at 4 o'clock, and the date of the treaty was signed by the chiefs was the 6th of February. So there's no problem with those two differences. So what's the other difference? Well, the other difference between these two documents is that the word Maori was inserted on the morning of the 6th of February into Article 3 of the treaty, just before Hobson and Co. entered the tent on the lawn at Waitangi for the signing ceremony at noon. This change was made last minute, so there it is on your screen. You can see where the word Maori was inserted. So the question is, why did they do this? Well, they wanted the chiefs to be clear that citizenship was going to be granted to Maori specifically. British settlers already had British citizenship, but there were other settlers on these islands aside from British people, you know that. People like the Chinese, the Yugoslavs, the Indians, South Americans, and so on. Hobson and his team were not wanting to grant all these people British citizenship, so they narrowed their focus to Maori only. British citizenship was the prize Maori really wanted. Why? Well, once Maori became British citizens, they could go in and out of British-controlled ports without paying certain duties. The chiefs could freely trade with the British without having to pay certain tariffs. They could get British medicine, education, and expertise in multiple areas, particularly farming and horticulture. But above all, the chiefs would have the protection of the greatest nation in the world against other colonizing nations, particularly the French.